In the name of God, our Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. Are you prepared? Steve and I aren't. The stable for the creche is out, but no figures yet. That's our way of pacing the season of Advent. Instead of a wreath, which for whatever reason never seems to work for our family. Today we'll add the empty manger, and next week the shepherds and maybe sheep. But they'll be on a separate table or shelf, not at the stable. There's not a star yet for them to see. They won't know what's coming. And finally, in 2 weeks, Mary and Joseph will arrive with their donkeys. We're not prepared for them yet. Today we hope to get a tree and a wreath for the door and a couple of poinsettias. The wreath and the poinsettias will get placed right away, but the tree will take some time. We're not really prepared for that either. And cards, presents, and cookies, and of course our year-end donations. Well, my gosh, we're definitely not prepared. Are you prepared? Well, a few weeks ago we heard from Jesus in the Gospel of Mark. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places. There will be famine. And then again last Sunday from the Gospel of Luke. There will be signs in the sun, the moon, the stars, and the earth. Distress among nations, confused by the roaring of the sea and the waves. People will faint from fear and foreboding and what is coming upon the world. For the powers of the heavens will be shaken. And only then will they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. It can seem like we are already in or certainly about to embark on this prelude to the end times. Turn on the TV, listen to a podcast, pick up the paper, talk to a neighbor. You can feel the tension, not just here, but it seems like it's everywhere in the world. Are you prepared? The book of Baruch is tucked away in the Apocrypha, betwixt and between the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament. Not much is known about its origin, except that it probably wasn't written by someone named Baruch. But it has served for centuries as a message for those without hope. Like the Hebrews, scattered and in exile from their beloved city of Jerusalem, and maybe you and me. Today's words are addressed to Jerusalem, not only acknowledging its importance as the holy place of the Jews, but picturing the city as a grieving woman mourning for her exiled children. Take off the garment of your sorrow and affliction, Baruch proclaims. Put on forever the beauty of the glory from God. Turn from grief and suffering to hope. Trust that God will act to restore Jerusalem, to restore the world to the peace and goodwill that God intended. But is hopefulness enough to lift the hearts of those of us today waiting for the tension and the turmoil to pass, waiting for Christ's return? Well, standing in the wilderness, intentionally far from the centers of earthly power, John the Baptist called for a more active role, echoing the words of Isaiah. Prepare the way of the Lord. Prepare the way. don't simply wait. Do what we can to straighten things out. Do what we can to level the playing field. Do what we can to smooth the rough edges of the world. What we do can, what we do will make a difference. And then Paul, in his letter to the Philippians today, put it a little more gently. And this is my prayer, he said, that your love may overflow more and more with knowledge and full insight to help you determine what is best. As we hope, as we do what we can, let love guide us as we determine what is best. In other words, let our hearts break open, not only to be pure and blameless in the eyes of the Messiah, as Paul suggests, but as our guide in the work we do to prepare the way. Hope, do what we can, love. Prepare the way of the Lord. In her November newsletter, Sister Shane Phelan helped me to hear the same call in our own time and place. Shane helped found the Companions of Mary the Apostle in West Park, New York. She was ordained a priest about the same time I was in the Diocese of Newark, New Jersey. She has been working recently with grassroots leaders from the U.S., from Ireland and Northern Ireland, and from Israel and Palestine. An interesting group, to say the least. One runs a hotel in a kibbutz dedicated to Jews and Palestinians living together. Another is a social worker. One a school principal in a church and a church elder. Some are fighting for the environment, others for inclusion and welcome, some for youth. They could easily despair, she wrote. They could easily despair. She goes on, we studied what it is that makes people keep going when the circumstances around them get worse. And the common thread is that they do not depend on success to motivate them. They do not depend on success to motivate them. Think about that for a minute. Their first, their second, their third attempt may fail, and yet they try again or they find another way. And people may say they are wrong in what they are trying to do, or that what they are doing isn't really needed anyway, or their efforts are simply too small to make a difference. And yet they depend on what they stand for, who they are, as guides. What they stand for and who they are what guides them. No one, no circumstance can change that. Their commitment to serve is bigger than their feeling of success or their feelings of failure. Shane concludes that that can be, must be, true for every one of us. Whatever our circumstances, ours or that of our communities or nations, we remain God's people. We remain called to proclaim God's love, to stand for God's love in any way we can. Not glamorous. It may not even seem to make a difference. But without that, we are lost. Love one another, she tells us. Love those who disagree with you, those who hate you. Bless strangers. Bless and pray for all those in office. I don't know if it will change them, but it will save you as you prepare the way. I don't know if it will change anyone, anything, but it will save you as you prepare the way. As we finish our preparations, the tree, the cookies, the presents, Advent wreath and creche, our donations, may we remember what we are really preparing for. A celebration of the one who was and is to come. May our hearts break open, guided by the love of Christ who began, remember, as an innocent, vulnerable newborn, just like you and me, lying in a manger, and whose life taught us how to live now and every day. So not just now, but in all the days ahead, may we straighten out some of those crooked places. Level a playing field here and there a bit. Smooth some rough edges with our families, with our friends, with our neighbors, with those we don't even know yet, and with those with whom we disagree. Have hope now. Do what we can in and for the world in which we live now. Share our love now. Prepare the way of the Lord now and always.